He's the man who speaks for the U.S. at the UN, Ambassador John Negroponte, and he's no rookie when it comes to a U.S. policy of regime change. When the U.S. tried to overthrow the North Vietnam and Nicaraguan governments, he held key federal posts. His style, diplomats call him cordial, but also say it's cover for U.S. policy that's often anything but. Still, he insists he's a gentlemanly diplomat. Right now, Ambassador Negroponte is emerging as the Bush administration's voice of caution in the showdown with Iraq. And Al Hayat newspaper correspondent and Countdown contributor Raghida Dergham got the opportunity to sit down with him for an exclusive interview.
4 permanent members, I should say, besides the United States, are also saying that maybe the inspectors in Iraq should be given more of a chance to accomplish their mission rather than being sort of pushed to a calendar. Do you feel that now the United States is being pressured by some allies in the region and by the other 4 permanent members to slow down and keep on the diplomatic route rather than go down the military route sooner than later? Are you being pressured?
Yeah, no, I understand. We, of course, are pursuing the diplomatic route at the moment. It is, after all, we, the United States, who brought this issue to the Security Council in September and worked patiently over almost 8-week period to achieve Security Council Resolution 1441. So we are very committed to its faithful implementation. The inspection process has started. Dr. Blix and Dr. El-Baradei have now built up a corps of inspectors in Iraq, and we think it's important that their work continue and that their work be supported.
So if they need up to a year, like they said, if the inspectors need to up to a year, is
just as I would say it would be unwise to set a final deadline in the immediate future, I think it might also be unwise to say that one needs X number of months or years in order to determine whether or not there are weapons of mass destruction programs in Iraq. I think that the important point, and I think that by talking about a prolonged period of time, I think has the unfortunate, or can have the unfortunate effect of giving Iraq the mistaken impression that it has a lot of breathing space here to play some of the old cat and mouse games that they have played in the past.
Some people are saying that you can't send 150,000 troops just to pressure.
The final decision has not been made to use force, that the President and his government would prefer for this matter to be resolved peacefully and through the successful implementation and peaceful implementation of Resolution 1441. But I think to give credibility to those words, it is logical, and it makes sense at the same time to indicate and to demonstrate that we are prepared to resort to the use of force if that should prove necessary. So I think it gives credibility to that position.
Joining us now from New York, Al Hayat correspondent and Countdown contributor Raghida Dergham. Raghida, thanks for joining us. Good evening to you.
Good evening to you, Lester.
I'm curious what the ambassador says regarding a second resolution, if he feels that the U.S. must come forward and get a second Security Council resolution in order to attack.
He did not discuss this matter during the interview, but the American position is that there is no need for a second resolution. Mind you, if Iraq is found in defiance and the confrontation with the inspectors, I think the administration would welcome another resolution by others of the Security Council members, and to say, look, here it is. Now we have another consensus. Don't forget that Ambassador Negroponte is really a consensus maker. He's a consensus builder, and in that way he will stay the course in as far as the rights of the United States, but he will remain open for a possibility of another resolution only if Iraq is in clear defiance.
And what is he signaling, what is the U.S. signaling to the other members of the Security Council in terms of how much patience they should have with this inspection process?
There is no commitment to a calendar either way. As you heard the ambassador say, there is no commitment to a calendar of war or a calendar of conclusion. But what I understood from Ambassador Negroponte's interview throughout is that President Bush's policy has opted for diplomacy first, and therefore The administration would like to stay that course for as long as it can, and it succeeded. After all, so far the Iraqis have delivered quite a bit, having resisted delivering in the past, the return of the inspectors, the cooperation, but at any rate the diplomacy route has worked, and I think the message has been that this can work in the final analysis as long as there is serious pressure.
Raghida, fascinating interview. Thanks for sharing it with us.
I thank you.
Good to see you.